Sugar, are you feeling squeezed by constantly rising prices, drowning in credit card debt, or worried that you're not saving enough for the future? Well, sugar, you are not alone. In today's episode, we are going to show you how to fight back against inflation, pay off your debt faster, and even make more money through side hustles, all while becoming financially smarter. Hey, sugar. Now, if you're new here, my name is Dr. Tierini, your favorite life coach. And in today's episode, we are tackling some of the biggest financial struggles that everyone is facing right now: inflation, credit card debt, the struggle to make ends meet, the struggle to make extra money, and why financial literacy is your secret weapon to winning at money. And joining me for this conversation is our favorite financial coach, Pamela Sams of Jackson Sams Wealth Strategies. Come on in, Pam. How are you?
I am great. How are you, Dr. T?
I'm good. This I wish this economy was doing a little better. But
Oh, girl. it is trying everybody. Every time you go to the gas station, you're like, do I eat or do I buy gas?
I,
It's
you
crazy.
know, it is. And I was trying to think because I've had the good fortune of living through the 2008 crash
Yes. Yeah.
and the 2020
Yep.
crash, and and so I've seen this a couple of times, and I was trying to figure out, like, is this just as bad? It feels like it's just as bad, if not worse, than when everything bottomed out in 2008.
Exactly. Because now, inflation is up. So it is, we're, basically what, 18 years from whatever that was. And yeah.
That just made me feel whole.
Yeah, as soon as you put numbers to it, you go, "Oh my gosh, that
Oh
was
my gosh.
yeah." And so that's been almost 20
Right.
years where we've been through that. But yeah, since that time, we've had inflation, go up and up and up in prices and, gas prices, food prices, whatever.
Mm,
Yeah, everything is up.
everything. Okay, so in thinking about that, the inflation, I
Mhm.
want to jump in right there because we're having to make some real strategic decisions about, like you just said, do I eat or do I put gas in my car?
Yeah, exactly.
Do I pay my student loans or do I pay my mortgage?
Mhm.
Or and so there's some real tough decisions that people are trying to make. So the
Mhm.
first thing, what are some strategic or even unhinged
Yeah.
you know, budgeting tips that will help the sugars to not
Mhm.
just survive but even thrive during this really tough economic season.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the unhinged because I think a lot of times we got to go back to old school basics.
Yeah.
Really looking at, and me myself, I have fallen victim to it. Is that it out of convenience? We're door dashing, we're Grubhubbing, we're doing all of that. We need to start, treating eating out as a luxury, like back in the
Mhm.
day.
Mhm.
I could probably count the times that we actually had Mickey D's or we ate out. We actually cooked food at home.
Yep.
So really, looking at those because that's what I see a lot of times is people out of convenience spending a lot of money on dining out and a lot of these food delivery services as well. The other thing is what I call cart purge. Amazon is not our best friend. Okay, we put a bunch of stuff in the cart, and I say a cart purge. Is really looking at put it in the cart. If you look at it again tomorrow, half of that stuff you don't even need. They're always talking about, some of the stuff. Oh, girl, that looks good, and you fall
Mhm.
victim to the scroll in the Facebook, and
Mhm.
next thing you know,
Mhm.
Amazon a bunch of stuff that you don't even need,
Yeah.
right? So cart purge is one of those things, and then take off the easy button. That's why I say the easy button.
Yeah.
Like, you save your credit card, you just push a button, boom, it's gone. And unfortunately, Alexa's in our living rooms and our rooms in our homes, and she's asking, you want this? It's in the car, so to turn that stuff off
Yeah. Yeah.
as well with that. And then really just looking at, counting those coins, have a budget, I call it a money a monthly money map, not so much a budget because people think that's so restrictive. So know where things are coming in, going out, and then try to cut out the unnecessary things that pop up in our budget. So we can afford the things that do. So the discretionary versus the needs versus the wants. I think I talked about a T chart before, and in one of our other sessions, is that that's what you need to look at. What do I actually need? And then eliminate the stuff that I don't need, especially in this season where stuff is tight as it is.
Yeah.
You don't need the fluff. Are there things I can go without for a certain period of time? To look at the subscriptions that we always have. I always say, you bought, Peacock and all these things for your favorite show, and then that goes off, and then what do? You still paying Peacock for, that, and all of these little streaming services that add up over time. So really doing an audit on your subscriptions as well.
Yeah, no, that's good. It really is, like you said, getting back to basics.
Hmm.
That's really, and it it's funny because that does sound unhinged.
Yeah, I
But
know. It is now, but that's how we grew up, and that's
right,
that
right.
our parents told us, Big Mama told us, all of those things is that they grew up in an era where they didn't
Not
have
have
the
that.
things.
Correct.
And so now we have the things and we don't want to let go of the things.
That's
So
it.
going back to the basics and really
Exactly.
saying, there were, people in our families, our moms and our parents that did without. And so some of these things we are so spoiled these days. Like,
We
I
are.
can't deal without that.
We are.
but,
We
but it's costing you a fortune.
We are, exactly. And even when you were saying going back to cooking,
Mhm.
one of the things that I do now, it was like, okay, so what's on sale at the grocery store? Ground
Yeah.
turkey. Guess
Yeah.
what we're having for
That's what
dinner?
we have it. Exactly.
Turkey, just waiting for or looking at the weekly ads
Hmm.
grocery stores put out, going back to looking for coupons.
Yep.
And you know how we used to get that Sunday paper,
Oh yeah.
all the coupons in, and we'll sit on Sunday after church and cut the
Mhm.
coupons and let that dictate what we bought.
Hmm.
If
Yep.
we bought this brand of soap or that brand of soap, or and it's not to say don't have your favorites, because
Right.
of some things, like since I said soap, I can't use all
Yeah.
soap. I have
Mhm.
skin, so we're not
Yeah.
saying to put yourselves in jeopardy.
No.
But a lot of the things that we're doing that's costing us is just because we just haven't looked for a better price,
Correct.
or
Yeah.
we haven't looked for a coupon, or
Mhm.
we haven't tried like, maybe let's try Jerkins, or like we're just going with our norm, but these are not normal financial times,
No.
so we can't keep up the pace that we've been, keeping up. Even with the price of gas. One of the things that that I thought about that would seem unhinged now,
Mhm.
that was not necessarily unhinged a little while ago.
Mhm.
Um, Starting an office carpool.
There
You
you go.
If
Mhm.
someone it lives nearby, okay, we might not want to see Bob from accounting all the time, but Bob from accounting lives 2 blocks up,
Mhm.
and that'll save you, in gas that you drive one week and he drives the next week. Then you might get to know Bob from accounting a little
Yeah.
bit, because it'll help both of your bottom lines. So
Exactly.
there's this thing where we're trying to go it alone, where in this
Mhm.
environment we can't necessarily go
No.
it.
Mhm.
Like, I got a Costco card. I don't need all that
Yep.
from Costco.
Mhm.
So we're gonna make a joint list of what we need.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Gonna share the Costco membership. We're gonna share it there, and then we go make a Costco run, and we'll split. You get 3 tubes, I get 3 tubes. You get two
Mhm.
bottles of vitamins, I get 2 bottles. Like whatever it is,
Yeah.
to make sure that we have what we need, but we're also protecting
Mhm.
our body.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know,
And we did, do a lot of that during COVID. Remember, 2020
yes,
came, whoever found toilet paper, like, let's buy some toilet paper. Whoever had the hand
yes,
sanitizer, we did the hand
yes.
sanitizer. You pitch things like, if you go to the store, you find this, get it, and
Mhm,
then we'll split it, we'll pool it. So we did have that sense of community again,
mhm.
where we weren't going at it alone during
Yeah.
COVID, during those time periods.
Yeah, absolutely. Like this is the time to kind of bring all of that back. And
Mhm.
one of the things that I'm even guilty of,
Mhm.
um, hmm, previous, not as much now because I did the Dave Ramsey, and so,
Okay.
but using our credit cards
Yeah.
for the gap, right? So
Yeah.
it's easy when we get comfortable.
Mhm.
Just pull that credit card out instead of cooking the turkey meat because that's what's on sale.
Mhm.
Instead of cutting back on the subscriptions,
Yeah.
instead of riding with Bob from accounting,
Mhm.
we'll whip out our credit card,
Yeah.
right? Now, why is it so dangerous right now during this economic slump to start using your credit cards more?
Oh
Why?
my goodness. Yeah. Credit cards as it is dangerous. The stat from last year, because I get all these reports, 1.28 trillion, that's trillion with the T, of credit card debt just in Q4 of 2025 as an
Just in
aggregate.
Q4.
Yes, that was just Q4.
Okay,
Okay.
wait, so I need y'all to make I wanna make sure y'all understand what she just said. The 12 months are
Mhm.
divided up into quarters, okay?
Yep.
Q4 is what, September?
Yep. September through December.
September to December. That's
Mhm.
Q4. That's the last quarter of the year. And you're telling me that last year we racked up what in just that one portion of last year?
Yep. Just that one portion, $1.28 trillion dollars of credit card debt
In 3 months.
in 3 months.
Months. Oh,
The worst thing about that, Dr. T, is 55% of those expenses were filling in the gap. It was basically the groceries, the utilities. It wasn't the luxury items. It wasn't the handbag. It wasn't the shoes. It was actually getting by,
necessities.
the necessities on it.
Mm,
And that's the dangerous part of it.
yeah.
With an average of about 22% of interest on
Interest
top
rate.
of that spending. So it's really dangerous. I always talk about trying to have an emergency fund, cash reserve, rainy day fund, whatever you want to call it, which is that 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses if you can, in something that's liquid, so you don't have to, go grab the card if you don't have to. But if you find yourself that you end up in that situation, really looking at a couple of ways to deal with it. One, you probably heard of a debt snowball. So really trying to accelerate the payments if you can. Where you take the balance on all of your cards and you have an accelerated margin. So you're going to put a little bit on that card and then you focus on the minimum for the rest of them. And then you're just paying that down and then you roll it into the next one, into the next one, and the next one. That's why they call it a snowball to do that. The avalanche method is on the reverse, where you're really focused on the high interest card first. With that one, you don't see it doesn't move the needle as much, and so you may lose a little bit of motivation because you're like, this thing's not moving whatsoever. But it saves you more in interest. But the debt snowball is a little bit, you can see the movement
Progress.
on it, and it gives you a little bit more motivation. It's like, okay, I'm actually moving the needle when I'm paying some things down. So whichever method that you do, of course, the ambulance is going to save you money. But if you need the motivation, of course, that snowball will be better for you. Whichever method, that's a good way to take a look at how to pay down the debt. And of course, is stop the spending. Do
Mm,
not use it. It's like, okay, I'm going to draw line in the sand, and I'm not going to spend any more on this particular card. Take those cards out of your wallet when you go shopping. You put them aside, pay down the balance on them. If after that, then you can start using it again. Never, 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 though, close your accounts, because that wipes out that whole credit history, and
yeah.
then that lowers your credit score. So you don't want to close them. Once you pay them off, go ahead and keep them. You may negotiate a lower credit limit, but don't close them because you don't want to damage your credit score with that. But those are definitely some ways to deal with the debt. Is have an emergency fund first, so you don't have to reach for the card, and then have a game plan on which method you want to use to pay those down effectively.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're in this unique position where things have been because I mean, let's just tell the truth, shame the devil. As Americans,
Mhm.
been blessed. Yeah,
Yes.
we've been fortunate that where we haven't had too many, even though we've had some economic hiccups, we've
Mhm.
always been able to rally. We've always been able to, kind of make
Yeah.
it, and so a lot of us really didn't do what we were told and taught back in the day was save for a rainy day
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
because we haven't had too many rainy days.
Indeed.
You know,
Mhm.
and so now we're in a hurricane. We're in a hurricane, okay?
We are. And the thing about it is a lot of times it's like, we have this mentality, I'm gonna get what I want type of thing
Yes.
at all costs. So I'm gonna put it on the credit card because I need those shoes now. I need this now because we're so much in a instant gratification society, that we aren't back to I'm going to save up for this particular item,
Yeah.
like we used to.
Yeah.
Remember back in the day with the layaway, where you
Yep.
put that coat on layaway in the summer, and then by
Yes.
winter you had the you had the coat,
Yep.
but you had a game plan with that. Now
Mhm.
that has come back a little bit with the buy now pay later things.
Oh, yeah, Klarna. Like,
Karma and Affirm and all of those.
yeah.
People get in trouble with that too because which is
It's
really crazy,
instant
Dr. T, is that
gratification.
I saw on because I do some Instacart sometimes just for convenience so I can, don't have to deal with the headache of being in a grocery store. But it is an item or a payment method where you can put your groceries on Affirm or Klarna, and it's crazy where you're buying groceries on a buy now, pay later situation. I mean, I know, where we are economically, and so that may be a way that you can actually afford the groceries, unfortunately,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
without putting it on a credit card. But again, that is a dangerous situation. You don't want to be a habit. It is one of those linchpins. If in a pinch, if I need groceries and I'm short this check, perhaps do that, but don't make it a habit on doing it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I didn't know you could use those for groceries. Like, I've seen them,
Yeah,
like clothing websites,
yeah.
things like that, but
Mhm.
you could use that for groceries.
You can you on like Instacarts or DoorDashes and stuff like that. You can, yeah,
I've never Instacarted or DoorDashed or Uber ate nothing because one day I
yeah,
was Uber had given me oh, try Uber Eats or whatever,
yeah.
and put that burger in my cart, and that $12 burger went to like $25.
$25, and then the service charge was 30. You paid $30 for a burger that you could have went around the corner and got for 20.
And got the burger. So I said, nope, I'm not doing that. So I've never used any. Now it's good if you're like sick or
Yeah,
something like that and you can't get out. Like everything has a purpose and a,
yes,
but the thing that I think of why I brought that up is because I think sometimes we're just using our money in lazy ways.
yes.
You
It's
know
a
what I'm saying?
convenient
Like
thing. Yeah.
it's all about the convenience. You can get up and go get that burger. You can go and, but it's just and it's fine when we got it.
Yes. When you
But
have
we
the resources, it is okay to do so. But when you don't and you're running thin, that's why I said, look at those considered luxury or convenience type things, especially
right.
during this season, is that you can shrink those a lot more. Don't do the latte all the time and don't go all of these places. You can shrink it, just we have so much fluff in our
Yeah.
spending, in our budget that we're just not aware of because we're putting the one of the things I also, kind of unhinged, but back to the basics is
Mhm,
cash envelopes. You spend
mhm,
cash differently than you spend your card. If you spend in
mhm.
plastic, even with your debit card, and you just blah blah blah, you don't know how much you're spending.
Yep.
You got a cash envelope. You put $200 in there. $200 is
Yes.
gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
Is it until the next time you replenish it from that. So that's the one thing you can also go back to is, just do an ATM withdrawal, put in the money you think you're going to need for that month. Once it's gone, that's what your spending is. Your spending is done for that particular month for that.
Yeah.
Because we spend it so much differently than pulling out your debit card or your credit card.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, it's gonna be uncomfortable. I can remember, A. Ramsey telling a story of how when he and his wife were getting out of debt, how like for lunch when he would go to work, he would eat tuna sandwich,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
he ate tuna so much to where now he's like, I don't want to see
Yeah.
it, you know. And so sometimes we may have to, to avoid using our credit card because, like you said, sometimes it's just a convenience. Now, again, we're not saying don't eat. We're not
Yeah.
saying, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes you have to kind of navigate, but we're saying be wise in what it is that you're doing. If you can pick up the tuna instead of the filet mignon, go get the tuna. If you
Mhm.
and this was one that I wrestled with last year when I started to see because
Mhm.
us business owners,
Yeah.
we know when the economy is changing before they announce it on
Oh, yeah.
TV.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I knew last year.
Mhm.
It was like, okay, things are not what they, used
Mhm.
to be back in, well, not last year. God, we're in 26, in
Yeah.
24.
24. Yeah.
I knew that things were, starting to slide. And so my annual trip to the beach, I, oh no, that didn't happen. I
Hey.
went to the pool that
Mhm.
I pay HOA dues for and sat myself in the kiddie pool and just put my headphones on and had the beach like
Yeah.
waves going, and I was at the beach in my mind, so it's just
Mhm.
certain things that we have to find as a workaround. I could have clearly pulled out my credit card,
Of course. Yeah.
right? Went to the beach because that's what I do because I work hard. I,
Mhm.
all the things we tell ourselves
Yeah.
justify.
To justify the
If
spending.
I
Mhm.
want it, I'm gonna get it. I work hard and to justify the spending. No, let me go up here and use what I got because
Mhm.
I don't know what's coming. I don't know. Let me be a good steward of
Mhm.
my,
Yeah.
finances. And that's a biblical principle,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Definitely.
How we steward what we have, which kind of segues into the next thing that I want to talk
Mhm.
about because a lot of times we think we can overrun our bad habits by
Mhm.
making more.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so we think the
Yeah.
problem is, I
Make more
just need
money.
money, and it's
Mhm.
like, no, we need to manage what we got. Now, in some cases, we do need to make more money. We
Uh-huh.
do,
Yeah.
a side hustle to. Now,
Mhm.
what are some ways that we can boost our income without burning out?
Yeah. That's the whole thing is not
Mhm,
burning out.
mhm.
Don't add on, all of these different things. But we are probably in a society now, especially with the use of AI, that you could develop, so many products. It's more of a knowledge base these days. You can
Yeah.
do a white paper, you can do a newsletter, you can produce just a lead type of magnet, and you can, down a downloadable where people will pay for your knowledge, your brain power.
Mhm,
And that doesn't take a whole lot. You just, pull up your AI. It's like, can you give me, whatever 10 tips on this? You can, sell it. There's so many ways to do that. That's probably an easy way is really to look at monetizing your knowledge through
mhm.
the use of AI as well for different digital products, newsletters, lead magnets, white papers, whatever you want to say, and then even ebooks. You can do that too. There are affiliate programs. So, Amazon, I talked about Amazon and not spending as much, but they do have affiliate program where, if you bought something on there, you can, put a review on that and get a little bit of, residuals or affiliate marketing dollars just from some of these places you already utilize. So
Mhm.
you're buying it anyway, right? You might as well get paid for it. So you can do affiliate programs as well. Of course, some of the extra leg power would be, if you wanted to do Lyft or Uber as a driver, you have some hours in your day that you want to make a little bit more and you like driving. You can do that as well. That does take a little bit more of an effort. So
Mhm.
the stuff that you can do at home, if you are, back to kind of the knowledge based thing, if you are an educator, there's a lot of online schools where you can teach a course. You can also, monetize a course. So if you can teach a certain subject, package it up in a course and then sell it that way. So there's a variety of different ways to make extra money, but you really, in the knowledge-based society now, the sky's the limit, especially with some of the AI tools that can really help you out.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I love that you pointed out with the AI piece because I think sometimes AI is cute and fun and
Yeah,
scary. It's
yeah,
scary.
it
It's
is.
but a lot of times we're using AI below its
Ex-
potential.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We are either you're afraid of it and you're like, I'm not using it at
yeah.
all,
Hmm.
or we're making all the cutesy pictures.
Yes, exactly.
You know, when we could be using it to say, hey, chat, or hey,
Hmm.
here's my resume.
Yep,
Give me 6 side hustles or give me
exactly.
part-time jobs that build off of my current, you know,
Hmm.
career expertise, so
Exactly.
whatever, and that fits into my daily schedule
Hmm.
of blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
And it will give you different opportunities and different things that are currently posted and tell you, hey, tell me who would I need to contact for that, or
Hmm.
what's their profile on LinkedIn. Like it will do all of the legwork that we would have to go and Google and
Yep,
go to
exactly.
go to Indeed, go to Monster, go to
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Like chat will go to all of those and
Mhm.
bring them
And
to
bring
you,
them to you.
you
Yeah.
know. So using it even in that way, is powerful. It's a very, very powerful tool.
It is very powerful too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an assistant that, but you, of course, you do have to train it. But if
Mhm,
it gets to know you, it is a language based, what they call a LLM,
mhm.
a language based model. It'll start to learn you,
Yeah.
and it becomes a part of you as an assistant. Say, okay, do you want this? And like you said, upload your resume or tell them the things that you want to do, and so it will do it. Like you said, it's just so much more potential than we're currently using it as right now. Like you said, we're making the cutesy pictures, and we're making emojis, and we're doing all of that basic stuff. But oh my gosh, I just recently I use chat as well, but the Claude is another AI tool that I use. And some of the times, my desktop was crazy messy. I wanted to organize it, so Claude has a component called co-work. And so I said, hey, look at my desktop. Let me know what it needs to, how to organize it best, put it into files, whatever. Claude did that in about 5 minutes, but it took me forever to try to figure out a system.
Yeah.
So really using it as an assistant to really help you enhance what you're currently doing as well. I know a lot of people are scared of the technology. I have a friend that's like, okay, now we're in the age of, Terminator, and, Skynet gonna become aware, and, we're gonna be in trouble and all of that. So some people are, shying away from that, but it's just so much more that can kind of give you, kind of a second brain, so to speak,
Mhm, mhm.
so if you are looking for a side hustle, definitely ask AI to say, "Hey, these are my skills. This is what I'm looking for. Give
This
me
is
some
how much time
suggestions."
I have.
Yeah, that's how much time I
Yeah.
have. Give me some suggestions, and then of course you execute from there. But it saves you the legwork on the thought process of what do I have to come up with,
Yeah.
and for that.
Yeah.
So it gives you a starting point.
Yeah. And for business owners too. So like you just described how you used it to help organize,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Business owners and most of I have my own AI that I built,
Hmm.
Dr.
Yep.
Because I recognized again back in 24, okay, economy is dropping,
Yeah.
coaching is one of those things that, people can kind of start
Yeah.
cutting down or, trimming out is kind of one of the necessities, not necessities. So I created Dr. Sugar, my own AI, and
Mhm.
trained it on
Yep.
my coaching protocol so it's like you're talking to me, but talking to the AI. And so as business owners, we can use AI to say, hey, here's my current business structure,
Hmm.
my current services. Given the, economic standing right now, what are some things that I can do to pivot my business to
Yep.
ensure that it's still profitable, well into the future? What are something you can use AI to forecast?
Correct.
that
Yeah.
you need to, do. So it's not just, looking at your resume, but it also do the forecasting so that you can stay ahead on what you to ensure that your business is still profitable as well, or if there's other services you might need to add, you
Yeah.
know, services that you might need to, scale back on, it can help you kind of see the landscape a little
Yeah, yeah,
bit, which
definitely.
really
Yeah, and then come up with, ideas that you didn't think about. Like, yeah, like I
Mhm.
said, the second brain is
Yep,
that, tell me this, and it's like, oh, I didn't think about that. And
yep,
so it comes up with some good ideas, so you can strategize better. The forecasting definitely, because it looks at all of the different things
mhm,
that are
mhm,
going on economically, looking at the forecast, what's going to happen within, the next 5 years and things like
mhm.
that, and so they can see where your industry is going perhaps, and then show you, like you said, where you need to pivot perhaps, or add services, or even pivot to something else, or add on
Yep,
to your services. So it's really definitely a helpful tool for you.
absolutely, absolutely. At the end of the day, with side hustles, I always say
Mhm.
make sure it fits into your life.
Yes.
So if you know that you have a 9 to 5, you can't get a side hustle that starts at noon.
No.
Um, you know,
I don't think your boss is gonna go, hey, I gotta go drive Uber for a couple hours and
you
then I'm
know,
gonna go
you,
back.
you got to get something that fits into your current life. You have to sleep, sugar. You
You
can't
do have to sleep. You gotta get your rest.
something that it's like, oh, once I get off of this, or I can go to that job, and then I work that to 7 a.m. and then I go back to my. No, sugar, we got to
Mm-mm.
sleep. We still have to be mom and dad and make sure the
Mhm.
kids are okay, so make sure that your side hustle fits into your life and it's not going to be to your detriment, either
Yeah.
family detriment, mental, emotional wellness detriment, or physical wellness.
Mhm.
All of those things have to be maintained. The other thing that I say is make sure the juice is worth the squeeze.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
so what I mean by that is if you get the side hustle and you're driving, to the
Mhm.
place, whatever it is, but the money that you're making is only going to be enough to cover the gas
Yeah.
to get
Mm-mm.
there, then that juice, that paycheck is now worth the squeeze
It is not.
the
Yeah.
time and what you're putting in, so make sure that whatever you're doing as a side hustle, you're actually progressing in it and it's actually profitable. Maybe
Mhm. Yeah.
spending more money, to do the thing than you are actually to make it, because that's going to defeat the purpose, in trying to build a savings or anything.
Yeah, exactly. And to that point is that, you're a business owner as well. So if you end up charging for one price, let's say, $10 for 1,000 people versus I charge 500 for 4 people, is that's a lot different than, people coming up with, oh, I can do this. Okay, if you're doing that, you're going to need, five or 600 people. Yeah, that's not going to be sustainable for you.
Yeah.
So you either need to look for something, a better price point
Yep.
that you can, service less people, but at a higher price point. So you're not, figuring out, I got to see a gazillion people in order for this thing to work. Uh,
Hmm.
so that's what happens a lot of times. I had, for example, I have one young lady that came to me and she was, really talking about starting kind of a side hustle, making candles, which was great. And then we kind of broke it down. Okay, how much does it take for the materials? Blah blah blah. How much you selling a candle for? I said your private margin is about $2. I was like, you're gonna need to sell a gazillion candles. And how long does it take to make the candles? And your profit's only $2. Is it really worth it? And
And
then
that
maybe
leads to
that's
burnout,
just a hobby. You make some candles for friends, but not a business type of thing, unless you can
right?
figure out how to do it.
Right, and that leads to burnout.
That leads to burnout.
So
Yeah.
that's where the burnout comes in. So if I'm having to drive all over, but I'm only profiting enough to put gas in my car, or if
Exactly.
I'm making these candles and I got to make a gazillion
Yeah.
candles in order to see a profit in it,
Yeah.
that's what leads to the burnout. Or if I'm having to spend, I have a night job at FedEx or UPS
Mhm.
or Amazon or whatever at night, but I'm up all night and I don't get to
Mhm.
sleep. And so my
Yeah.
that leads to burnout. So that's what
Mhm.
we're saying, sugar. Like you can
Mhm.
definitely get a side hustle, but make sure that it makes sense or
Mhm.
else you're gonna burn out. And I'm gonna tell you something that often happens. when we get in that place of burnout.
Mhm.
Get in that place of burnout, we're overwhelmed. So then we start to look for things to make us feel better.
Yes, and
When
then spending.
it makes us spend more money. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll think like, oh, I'm getting this side hustle to help my bottom line. But then the side hustle burns you out. You're overly tired. You never have time for yourself. So then you start to say, well, no, I'm going to go on this vacation regardless because I work. And now we're trying to cope with
Mhm.
now and the overwhelm that we feel from this side hustle that we picked up. And now we're digging ourselves into a bigger financial hole than what we was in the first place.
Yeah, and then you're in this cycle that
And then you're in this cycle.
that you don't want to be in,
Exactly.
because you started. It's like, okay, I need to make more money, and then I'm doing this, and I'm burning out, and then
Mhm.
next thing you know, you're in this whole cycle. You don't want to be in that.
That's it. That is exactly it. So that's why we're saying, sugar, like get a side hustle if you need one. And I'll just be completely transparent. I got a side hustle.
Hmm.
I dipped back into my education, bag and was like, hey, I need something to supplement
Yeah,
right now. Cause all of you probably saw the post that I put up in my bathrobe where I was like, hey,
yeah,
struggle bus.
yes,
Slow down. And I needed it to, I was
hmm,
there with my grandparents, transition.
yeah,
But now we're back. So, hello, God, what are we going to do? And so I picked up a side hustle that was flexible. I could still see my clients. I can still be here with it's not taking away
hmm,
from anything that I'm currently doing. It's not adding any extra stress and it fits right into my lifestyle. It does
hmm,
exactly what I needed, to do. And so we're not saying this, and I tell you that because I don't want you to think like, oh, it's easy for them to say it. No, sure.
hmm,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll be the first one to tell on me, to say, hey, the things that I'm saying are not just in theory. These are things that I'm practicing real time
hmm,
right now in this economy, and I want to share them with you so that you can have the tools that you need in order for you to, again, not just survive, but to thrive.
yeah,
In this,
exactly.
right?
Mhm. Yep, that's the key.
Last thing, uh,
Hmm.
what I've found a lot of times, it's not the desire to do and to have more money. It's not the willingness to really make smart decisions. It's the lack of understanding of what to do.
Yes.
That's what I found a lot of times. A lot of times people just don't know how to manage money, what to do with the
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
just get the paycheck, I pay my bills, I, I do the best I can. They don't necessarily have the tools,
Yeah.
or the financial
Hmm.
literacy to know how money moves,
Yes.
flow of money,
Hmm.
and to even see money in the right way as a tool.
As a tool. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So, what tools do you recommend to your clients when your clients come and see you, like
Hmm.
this lady making candles, or just a regular mom and dad just trying to make ends meet? What tools do you recommend to them to help them better understand their personal finances?
Yeah, exactly. That's the unfortunate piece is that, we never really learn how to deal with money in this country. We go from being in our parents' house to probably quasi on our own in college and then boom, out in the real world, making a paycheck, but then nobody really told you how money works
Yeah.
in this economy in this country. Really educating yourself the best way you can. One of the tools that I really recommend, always back to the basics on understanding your cash flow, so your ins and outs on and that. So Rocket Money is really a good tool to really look at cash management, what's coming in, what's going out, so you can devise a spending plan for you. Not a budget because people think budgets are so restrictive, but
Okay, yeah.
a kind of a spending plan or a money map is what I tend to use, so you know where your money's going. Understand what your paycheck looks like. Get a paycheck, and well, half of us probably don't even see our paychecks these days. We just kind of look at what lands into our bank account.
Count, yeah.
Analyze your bank, your I'm sorry, your pay stub. what employee benefits do you have that you are paying for, and you may not be taking advantage of. You have your basic health care, but you have your disability insurance, you have life insurance, you have things that are coming out of your paycheck. Understand your FICA, that portion that's going to Medicare, portion is going to Social Security. So understand, and I do a program, especially with young people when they first come out of college, called basically, your financial, paycheck, looking at understanding what your paycheck looks like and what's going on with that. So understanding that. So cash flow is big. From a literacy standpoint, there's a lot of tools. I'm actually wrote a book recently. It will be coming out in the next couple of months. Hopefully by June, we'll have that. But it's Her Money, Her Choice, Transforming Lives $1 at a Time. So it's really geared for financial wellness for women. It is a financial workbook. So you can work through the worksheets on everything from the beginning of the book is basically your money mindset. It's called From Broke to Bougie. That's chapter 1.
Broke to bougie. All right.
Bougie is all about getting your mind straight around money, because just like you said, Dr. T, we have so much baggage when it comes to money. We've learned that money is the root to all evil, or rich people got this, and we have so much baggage, unfortunately, when it comes to money. So it's all about money mindset, and it goes all the way to how do you celebrate your successes at the end. Looking at life insurance, your retirement, your cash flow. So it's about 10 chapters. It really just goes through everything that you need to know from A to Z on how to become financially well. So that will be coming out in June of this year. Financial workbook, work through those as well. And there's tons of websites to look at. You want to get a good understanding of the vocabulary that is the world of finance. What is an IRA? What is a CD? What is a stock? How does that work? How's a mutual fund? What's a 401k? How does it operate? No, you don't have to become an expert in the field of finance, but know, kind of the language and the basics and how it works. Because a lot of times, especially with our retirement plans through work, we unfortunately, when it comes to seasons like this, we want to tap into our 401k for 401k loan to get out. For your 401k was not meant for that. It was meant for long term, for retirement. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely the last resort if you are, really on the struggle bus. Yeah. Do you want to tap that? And understand, because there's penalties involved and you don't want to do that. So that's what I'm saying. Understand the language and how some of these things operate, because you don't want to put yourself in an even worse situation. If you take money from your retirement plan, guess what happens? There's penalties, and then there's income that needs to be added to your income that year. And guess what? The IRS, the tax man always coming. They're going to have your handout. And then next thing you know, you have a big tax bill, and maybe you don't even know how to tackle that tax bill. Now you set yourself up for a situation where now you got to deal with your student loans and a tax bill and the regular day-to-day. So you don't want to put yourself in situations. So understand how some of these programs work that you have in your overall financial strategy.
Yeah, no, that's really good. That's really good. Her money,
Her
her
choice.
from
Yes.
broke to it's just
Yes. That's chapter 1.
that alone, sugar. That's a tool that was written for us by us.
Exactly.
No? And I point that out because a lot of times like you said, the lingo can be daunting.
Yes.
You're not familiar with it if you didn't necessarily grow up hearing it. I was fortunate in that my mom was on my head from the very first job that I, got as a teenager. My mom was on my neck.
Yep.
Like, this is what you do. And the reason why is because, she had to file bankruptcy, before. She wanted to make sure that I understood what to do, what not to do, and even within that, how to pay tithes.
Yeah.
Sure, I was, on top of it. And so, again, sugar, we're not saying don't do. We're saying just be mindful of what you do, okay, and be mindful of what comes along with that. So, like you were saying, having to do the 401k withdrawal. When I lost my job many years ago and, everything was upside down, I ultimately had to do that. And so one of the things that I knew to do was to tell my, it was TIA Pref at the time,
Mhm.
go ahead and take all Uncle Sam
Mhm. Yep, exactly.
that we
First.
saw. What is it that Uncle Sam wants? So by the time I had to file it on my taxes
Mhm.
at income, it was already taxed.
Correct, yeah.
So I didn't get hit and then hit again.
Again.
So
Mhm.
those little things, it can make a difference in you making
Mhm.
a wise decision on what to do and how to do, and if I take from my 401k or how much to invest in my 401k. Do I open
Mhm.
Roth IRA or regular IRA? And what does that, look like? And how am I saving for my kids to go to college? And is that what is that, a 529?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Plan or what all of that means. So I'm so glad, Pam, that you've written this workbook to kind
Mhm.
of break those things down, just to regular every, because I know you, I haven't seen the book yet, but I already know it's regular everyday language and
Yeah.
lingo that anybody can pick up no matter where you are in understanding your finances or what
Mhm.
background may be. You'll be able to pick up this workbook and be able to understand exactly
Mhm.
what it is, what you need to do, and be able to make some changes for
Yeah.
the affirmative of what it is that you want to see happen in your finances.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's the thing. It is written that way where any no matter where you are in your financial life or your financial journey, you can definitely learn some things and work through, the worksheets as well, especially with the money mindset, because a lot of people don't talk about the behavioral finance. And that's one of the areas that I really focus in on is how do people operate with their money? What is their money story? What is that, kind of gunk that goes on when we think about our finances and the feeling, it's
Yeah,
so much shame sometimes with money and especially with couples. I deal with a lot of couples as well that they're hiding money, is there what they call financial infidelity, and people aren't truthful. So it's so much stuff with that, and so a lot of the worksheets really, in the beginning, from broke to bougie, you really have to understand yourself and how you operate with money and what does money mean to you, and
yeah,
work through all of that, and then work through the rest of the workbook because you got to start from that first.
yeah, yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And so, and I know I see it as a coach. So I'm sure you see it.
Hmm. Yeah.
You see it as a
Yeah.
financial advisor,
Hmm.
where exactly what we said earlier. I'm burnout, I'm
Hmm.
anxious, I'm tired, and it shows up in our money
Yeah.
because
Hmm.
money, our finances are often tied to our feelings.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
I need something to make me feel better.
Hmm.
So I turn to an external, whatever it is, be it a
Yep.
new purse, be it a vacation, be it a new car,
Mhm.
whatever it is, we're using our money to try to fill a void
Correct.
within us. And this
Mhm.
is where you reference the scripture where money is even, the
Yeah,
Bible says the love of money,
correct.
root of all evil. If you make money your end all be all, if that is what you always turn to fix every problem, if
Mhm.
that's what guides every decision, if that is what, basically tells you what to do, money, that's where you all 9 times out of 10, we're gonna end up doing something.
Yeah.
We're gonna end up doing
Yeah.
something that's not going to yield a positive result. That's what the Bible.
That's what the Bible is, and that's where it comes to, it's in behavioral finance, it's called money worship.
Yeah,
And that's where, if you're focusing in on that piece of it, yes, then it is, the root of evil, the love of it, the money worship part of it.
correct
And then there's a thing called money avoidance where you don't want to do with anything.
at
You're not
all.
looking at statements, you're not doing anything. And then that, becomes the malingering part of that also is not going to help you.
Correct.
Because you need to do something. I always say the decision, no decision is still a decision.
Decision. Exactly. Exactly. And this is where we get off into greed. This is where
Hmm.
we get off
Yeah,
into poverty mindset.
exactly.
This is
Yeah,
where we get, and
scarcity.
neither one, it doesn't matter because sometimes people will say, well, oh no, I don't worry about money. I don't even think about it. Well, Shug, you over here.
Yeah, you're over there.
One of
Exactly.
those camps is not, healthy. We have to know what we're doing with our money, we have to understand it. We have to see it
Mhm.
proper light. We have to see it as a tool. We have to see it as a resource, and not the source. Okay.
Mhm.
It's a resource, not the source. For all of my believers, you know exactly what I'm saying. God is the source, money
Yeah.
is not the source. Okay. Because I've had no money and been able to do a whole lot. Okay. So
Mhm.
just making sure that we have a proper perspective,
Yes.
on it. And then making sure that we have people around us. Like, again, Pam, this is why I bring her on all the time so that we can have this conversation, because a lot of times we don't want to talk about money, but
Mhm.
trusted people, to actually sit down with and talk about it with. Come and talk to me, sugar. When those feelings when you get the feeling the feels, we need to deal with the feelings so that
Yes.
they show up in your finances. So you have two people right here, that can really help you navigate this in a healthy way. Okay.
Yep.
Well, Pam, I think we have hit all the buttons that
We have.
you
We
know.
have addressed all of the things that people are probably experiencing right now. It's been a trying year. Really, understanding coming off of a 2025, which was uncertainty as well, with people with jobs and insecurity, not knowing where they have a job, if I'm rift, and
Yeah,
then coming into another year where things are economically tight as well. So definitely looking at some of the things that we talked about today, definitely I think most people would need to
yeah.
learn that they're not alone,
Nope.
of course, and then some of the tools and strategies that we talked about that could help them along the way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I appreciate anytime you are able to
Mhm.
share time and space with me and the sugars. And so I thank you so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge. Sugar, when Pam's book drops, now I was going to say From Broke to Bougie. Clearly, that's my favorite chapter.
And that's gonna be your favorite chapter.
That's going to be my favorite chapter. From Broke to Bougie. No, the book is Her Money,
Her choice.
Her Choice,
Yeah, transforming lives $1 at a time.
From Broke to Bougie.
Yep, you got it.
When the book drops, sugar, please just stay tuned. I will absolutely let you know when it drops, the day where you can get it. I'll be sure to have all of the deets because I want to make sure that you have that resource in your hand. And of course, you already know you can reach out to Pam, schedule some time to chat with her if you want to chat with me, because we want to make sure that you have everything that you need so that you are financially healthy, happy, and whole. Okay, sugar? Thanks so much for watching, sugar. I'll see you next time.